Hello and welcome to this week's Positive Recovery with Corinna, being made for you for www.sobertownpodcast.com and also my YouTube channel Positive Recovery with Corinna. It's been a while, sorry I've been busy, but I'm now back and I only have two things left to choose from. So a little bit of a dig, choose this one. So if you've got any more ideas, please send them in. And today's is alternatives to drinking, and the person's also put things like exercise, meditation, journaling and crafts. So I'll try and stick with those first of all, and see what else we can come up with. So yeah, do you know what, when we first quit drinking, or for me certainly, it's like, what am I going to do with all that time? I'm going to have so much time. Now I'm not drinking, and I didn't know how I was going to fill it. And now 2 years on, I don't know how I ever had time to drink, because we find so much to do in sobriety, and we find things to do that we didn't even know that we were going to enjoy, or we pick up old stuff that we used to do. If you just try and think of things that you used to do before you started drinking, you know, things that really gave you pleasure and joy, and then drinking just overtakes all of that, and we don't do any of that anymore. So it's not great. So think of small things that you used to do, or some things that you've always wondered if you could do, and make a list, and that can give you some motivation to distract and keep yourself sober. But looking at this, first of all, we'll look at the ones that the person's put down here, which is exercise. So yeah, exercise is a really good thing to do, because it feeds our reward pathway. It feeds the dopamine and gives us dopamine and endorphin stimulation, which is our feel-good chemicals and our pain relievers. And so it's really good to exercise. But for some of us, we can't go out and do sort of big amounts of exercise, and exercise doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be a marathon, it doesn't have to be a Zumba class, although there is a seated Zumba near me that I must look into. I'm going to commit today to do that, because I keep saying I'm going to do it and I don't. But it can just be a little bit of exercise, whatever is good for you. And I have a baseline of exercise, which is only 200 feet a day, that I have to walk 200 feet a day outside. Obviously I walk a little bit more around my home. But I have to get outside each day and do 200 feet. And if I can do a little bit more, then that's great. And if I can't, that's okay. And if I don't do it, well, do you know what? I'll just try again tomorrow. And I do that with certain things. Sometimes I try, and if I'm around my the area that I live in, I'm quite confident in that area, so I'll try and do that without any walking aids. But if I'm out and about, then I'll have to have walking aids. So it's okay to have assistance with your exercise as well. So when we talk about exercise, many people get put off by the word. It's like, oh, I can't do that, because we have thoughts of doing these massive tasks. But we don't have to. We don't have to leap into a half marathon, or, as I said, a Zumba class or aerobics, or going to the gym and pumping iron. Exercise is something, just a gentle walk, and it needs to be in the limit that we can do. Don't set yourself up to fail. Just get yourself a baseline. Do that each day if you can. I again today recommit to doing my physio exercises every day, because I haven't been doing that, or life's taken over. So, you know, things like just physio exercises are exercises. Yoga is a great peaceful exercise. And I'd like to say that meditation is a kind of exercise, which is next on the list as well. Because we're exercising our brain and our mind in trying to calm things down. And meditation can be a really tricky thing to do. And I used to find it really hard. And I do still find it hard, but that's because I don't practice enough. And with meditation, what we need to do is we need to practice. It's not something that comes naturally to us anymore. We just have to practice, and practice makes perfect, right? Whatever perfect may be. So I've been lucky to go with the lovely Houndless a couple of times to a couple of meditation retreats actually, and we've had a really good time there and learnt some really amazing things. and learn a lot about meditation and different ways that we can meditate, and sort of meditation tricks. So one of the things that the Buddhists say is that that our mind is actually in our chest, in our heart center, so your heart chakra, the bit where you automatically touch when you feel loved or emotional, whatever. That is where the Buddhas feel their mind. So just touch that area now. Just put your palm to that area and just feel the connection. And that is where Buddhists feel that our mind is. And I talk about Buddhism because it's not a religion, so don't be put off. Buddhism is a spiritual way of being, and with that is a lot of meditation comes from there. Metta, loving kindness, comes from Buddhism, and so does mindfulness, which many of you know I'm a great fan of mindfulness. So meditation, that they think about your mind being in your heart rather than in your head. So it might be, if this is a new concept to you, as it was to me, it could be just sitting. Most important thing was sitting, standing, walking, lying, however you prefer to meditate. As long as your feet or that you're connected to the ground in some way, then that is good. And just firstly, sort of focus on your breaths, just slow and gentle. Don't change it, just the in and out breath. And then gradually try and bring your mind down to the centre of your chest. And it really helps. It really helps that monkey mind. It helps stop it. So that's one trick, first of all, with meditation, is to bring it down to the centre of your chest. And some of the other things we learned were things like imagine being a child at play and your breath being a toy. So make it fun. Just go and find your breath. Things like imagine it being a toddler on a blanket, and every time the toddler crawls off, you just gently bring it back. And that's when we're talking about your mind, because your mind will wander, and that's okay. It's just noticing it and gently bringing it back. Another trick was to imagine your mind as a calm sea, and every time you have a thought, it can be a ripple, and you have the choice to make it into a crescendo of a wave, or just to bring it slowly back in again. And just one more little meditation trick was to imagine your thoughts as clouds that form and then float by and disperse. So they're just some ideas to try and concentrate on your meditation. But there's lots of meditation online. Have a little look. But meditation could be simply just sitting straight back, feet grounded, or walking, or standing, or lying, and just focusing on your breath. Just, I am breathing in, I am breathing out, I am breathing in, I am breathing out. And just try and find the silence. Even if you manage to stay focused for 5 seconds, it's okay. And the more you practice, the easier it will become and the better it will be. And as they said, you wouldn't go a week probably without an external shower or wash. So why would you go a week or so without an internal one? So just try and have a little look on meditation today. It really does help a lot of people. And the form that I like is mindfulness, because I can use mindfulness in my everyday activities. If I'm washing up and I start to find that I'm scrubbing the pots really hard or banging things around, I just catch myself and just take a breath and just slow it all down, because I realise at that point that my thoughts have run away with me somewhere else. I'm not focused on my washing up anymore. And just bring it all back and feel your hands in the water, look at the suds, feel the warmth, just slow everything down. One place I really notice it's when I'm driving. You start driving closer and closer to the car in front, and you're gripping the steering wheel and you're holding your breath because you're going to be late or whatever. Just catch yourself. Just take a breath. You have no control over that person in front of you. Driving up their backside is not going to get you there any quicker. Back off, slow it down, breathe, notice the sun, notice the wind, notice the rain, whatever, and just live in the moment. And that is the great thing about mindfulness. It's catching ourselves, being anywhere but in the moment, and just bringing ourselves back to the moment. The other thing we've got here is journaling. So we're looking at alternatives to drinking. Another thing is journaling, and journaling is a really good way to record our feelings and emotions and how we are. I didn't keep a journal per se. I kind of wish I had, in a way, now that I'd kept it all in one place. I did blog quite a lot on WordPress, but my go-to was the I Am Sober community, which is a free app. Brilliant community on there, so supportive. If you're thinking of giving up drinking, or if you have given up drinking, the thing I most recommend is find a community. That is one of my alternatives to drinking, is to connect to a community, a sober community that will get you, that understands you. I can thoroughly recommend the I Am Sober community. They are amazing. There is no judgment there. People walk beside you, they hold your hand, and they cheer you on. And, you know, if you have a slip or a fall down, it's okay. They just help you pick yourself back up again and just carry on moving forwards. So I did most of my journaling, in inverted commas, on there. I posted every day, you know, sometimes 2-3 times a day in the early days. It's just a case of getting on there. You can post, you can go and read other people's posts, you can comment, and that was my real go-to in the very, very early days. Writing is an amazing resource. If we write things down, we can get it all out of our head, and just get it all out, and it stops it going round and round and round. But if you want to do it in a journal, get yourself a nice journal, and or do it on a laptop, and just write each day about your thoughts and reflections, because it really is good later to go and look back on and to see how far you've come and what you did to get through. I have to do that on the I'm Sober app because I haven't got it in any one place, and it's amazing how quickly we forget things. I can't actually remember an awful lot about my first few months, other than that I was done and I wanted to get through. And it's really interesting actually to go back and look, and it diverts you and distracts you, and you can write about what your addict voice is telling you and how you're overcoming it. And if we do slip, it's great to then, you know, record that as well and see how bad we felt, see the regret and the shame and the remorse, but then turn that around and use it. Use it to play it forwards the next time the addict voice comes knocking. So journaling is a great way. And the other thing person put down here is crafts as well. And yeah, crafts are great. They're a great distraction. I was knitting even before I gave up drinking, because of my hands and arthritis. I taught myself to knit to try and keep my hands active, but honestly the next day I'd have to pick up my knit and there'd be so many holes, so many drop stitches that I'd have to put right. So it's so lovely now knitting and not having that, because I know what I'm doing. I can see a drop stitch when I actually do it because I'm no longer pissed. So yeah, there's lots of crafts that we can do. We can get really creative. I'm into knitting, some of into felting, sewing, jewellery making, bracelet making. Friendship bracelets are a popular one, candle making, lots of different crafts. If you need some inspiration, then you could go to somewhere like Hobbycraft. I found that an amazing place. Jigsaws, really got into jigsaws initially as well, because that really helps distract you from your addict voice. Anything that can distract you really is good. And, being creative, it doesn't have to be about crafts and things. It can just be creative in our mind. I've just written a book, as many of you know about, called The A to Z of Alcohol and Sobriety. And there's lots, it's a very easy read. I've hopefully got creative with the written word, and creative with my journey, and creative with ways to be, in that I just wanted a really easy read for people that you can pick up, you can put down, whether you're depressed, anxious, still drinking, even if you've got some brain damage or memory issues from our drinking or other causes. It's a really, really easy book, and it really explains things really simply, because that's what my creativity was, that's what my craft became. I'd always wanted to write a book about that, and Sobriety gave me the opportunity to do that. I'd always wanted to write a book that was easy to read, especially for people that are depressed or anxious. Having worked with people with those illnesses, and having had that myself for many, many years, I know reading can be a really good resource for all of us in any situation, but concentration really goes. So this is a book that we can pick up, put down, and come and go as you please, but hopefully will really, really help people on their journey. And actually includes headings such as exercise and meditation and journaling and creativity and lots more. So I hope that's been helpful for you. I think just perhaps look back to things that you've always wanted to do, things that you've used to do and no longer do, and just know that in sobriety you have lots of time to do it, and then make yourself a little plan about how you can do that. And I've just remembered my commitment to you that I will now get on the phone and find out about seated Zumba. So have a great day, everybody. Have a great week. Hopefully I'll be back weekly again now. And if not, I will see you as soon as I can. Take care for now. Not another drop, no matter what. Bye-bye.